Every year, millions of elderly Americans fall victim to some type of financial fraud or confidence scam. That's according to the FBI. And with the elderly population growing and seniors racking up more than $3 billion in losses annually, elder fraud has remained a growing problem. And joining us this morning to talk about a free event aimed at protecting seniors from scams is Lasha Cunningham, Financial Education Manager at Gesher Human Services. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. And this is a very important topic, especially around this time, I feel. I feel like the holidays is a popular time for scams.
It really is. It really increases, probably even over 50% of increase during this time.
So what should our seniors look out for?
Seniors should look out for suspicious phone calls, which is really key. There's really three of them that's really important. Financial abuse among, especially the ones that may be having caretakers, especially during this time. Scam phone calls. There's this one scam, it's called the grandparent scam, and that's where they call and pretend to be one of their family members. Now, obviously, with AI, they are even able to kind of clone the voice, so that's really important. And then also those scams with the business scams, where you get that call from the IRS or government stating that you owe so much money, and it increases that sense of urgency. So.
For those of us with elderly people in our lives, I know my Nana, she'll get calls all the time, and she answers them. My mom goes over there, she tries to step in and block that process. What else can be done to kind of stop them from getting these calls in the first place?
You know, I think the biggest thing is if you don't recognize the number, don't answer. If it's important, if it's someone you know, they'll leave a message. And that's key, is just really not answering that call. Or if you do answer the call and it doesn't sound familiar, hang up right away. Because sometimes when you answer the call and if you stay on too long, then they can start to get more information. My mom is 80 years old, and so she gets those calls all the time as well. And I'm always constantly telling her, if you're not familiar with the voice or familiar with the number, hang up the phone. And I think another thing that's really important that you can do for your grandparents and your Nana is program the phone numbers of the families. So they know that they're familiar with that number, because sometimes it'll be a number that looks similar to your number and it's not. But I say make sure you're programming all the family into their numbers into their phone. So that way, if they look at the phone, and they'll know it's someone that they're related to. And then if they're not sure, just don't have them answer the phone. And then again, if typically your family will leave a message.
And that's with the phone call, but you also talked about caregivers and some of that financial abuse. Can you go into that a little deeper?
Yeah, sometimes caregivers are really huge financial fraudsters. And so I think the thing that you can really do is to make sure that if you have a family member and you're using a caregiver, making sure you're constantly checking their financials. Things that are valuable, maybe sometimes keeping them in a place that's locked up where, it's not easily accessible. And just really doing your research prior to getting caregivers, right? Making sure that the company is well represented, and just really doing your research in that space. Finding companies maybe that friends or family have used already and that people have a relationship with.
So we got to protect our loved ones.
We do, we really do. They're such an important part of our history, and they have so much valuable information. But when it comes to like financial exploitation, that's kind of where they need that assistance. So we want to make sure we're protecting them.
Of course. And if people want to learn more information, how can they do so?
Yep, they can go to www.geshermi.org, and they can look at our website and they can sign up for the program. It's going to be this coming Thursday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And we're going to have it at a senior center, so there's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to play bingo. Seniors love to play bingo, so we're going to have that, and they're going to have some lunch, and we're going to have some conversation. And we're also going to talk a little bit about budgeting for seniors during the holiday time. A lot of seniors are living on limited income, and so we want to make sure we help them navigate that process as well. So they're going to get a lot of information this week.
Sounds like a great program. It is, really needed.
Yeah, we've been committed to really trying to work with our seniors because it's important. So it's kind of like Gesher's way of really doing a call to action and helping them out on the way.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.